Donald Trump's chances of winning Michigan have increased in the past week. Michigan is one of the most crucial swing states with 15 electoral college votes. It's a battleground that could decide the election, and recent developments are working in Trump's favor. As early voting starts on October 26th, the momentum is with Donald Trump. The voter registration deadline for Michigan expired yesterday for those wanting to register by mail or online. However, Michigan also offers same-day voter registration. Do register your vote because this matters the most, and the latest polls confirm this trend. Starting with data from Trafalgar Group. In their most recent Michigan poll, Donald Trump is leading Kamala Harris with 46% of the vote compared to Harris's 44.2%. This gives Trump a 1.8-point advantage. What's notable is the party ratio among those polled. Democrats made up 35.9% of the participants, while Republicans accounted for 31.5%. The undecided voters, which is a crucial factor in swing states like Michigan, represent 32.6% of those surveyed. Switching to the Atlas Intel poll, where Trump is also ahead in their Michigan poll. In a three-way race, Trump leads with 49.6%, and Harris follows with 46.8%, with Jill Stein capturing 1.1% of the vote. In a two-way race, Trump holds a 50.2% lead to Harris's 47.3%, which gives him a 2.9-point advantage. If we look at the changes over the past month, Trump's numbers have slightly decreased. In September, Trump was polling at 50.6%, with a 3.4-point lead over Harris. Now in October, Trump is at 50.2%, while Harris has gained slightly to 47.3%. Looking at favorability ratings, Trump stands at 49% positive and 50% negative, which gives him a net favorability of -1%. On the other hand, Harris has a much higher negative rating at 54% compared to her 45% positive, which leaves her with a net favorability of -9%. Moving to polls from R&W Strategies. In their latest Michigan poll, Trump and Harris are tied at 47% each. Breaking it down by gender, Trump holds a lead among men with 50% to Harris's 46% with a 4-point advantage. However, Harris leads among women with 48%, while Trump trails with 44%. Next, the Washington Post's Michigan poll shows Harris leading Trump by 2 points with 49% to Trump's 47%. What's important to note here is that Trump has gained 0.2% in the last week, which signals a potential shift in his favor. In the Silver Bulletin forecast for Michigan, Harris leads Trump by a narrow margin with 48.2% to Trump's 47.6%, which gives Harris a 0.6-point lead. However, Trump's numbers have been improving with a 0.5% increase over the last week and a 1.9% increase since last month. Real Clear Politics shows a different result, with Trump leading by 1.2 points in polls at 48.4%, while Harris is at 47.2%. Decision Desk HQ paints a similar picture to Real Clear Politics, with Trump ahead at 48.7% and Harris at 47.1%, which gives Trump a 0.6-point lead. But in the 538 polling averages, Harris leads by 0.2 points with 47.5%, compared to Trump's 47.3%. Looking at Michigan's polling history as of October 22nd, the state has shown significant support for Democratic candidates in previous elections. Hillary Clinton was polling ahead by 11 points in 2016, but Trump won the state with 47.5%. Joe Biden was ahead by 7.8 points, but only won Michigan narrowly by 2.78%. Polymarket odds favor Trump significantly, with a 59% chance of winning Michigan compared to Harris's 41%. This 18-point gap shows that the betting markets are now leaning strongly toward a Trump victory in this key swing state. But what about the issues in Michigan? According to Atlas Intel, the most significant issues that Michigan voters focus on reflect national concerns. The top issue is immigration, with 49.6% of respondents identifying it as the most pressing challenge facing the U.S. inflation. The cost of living comes in close behind, with 48.9% of voters considering it a top issue. The U.S. economy and job market also remain a central concern, with 47.5% of voters highlighting them as a major issue. Other significant issues include safeguarding democracy, which is important to 38.6% of voters, and challenges to reproductive rights, which matter to 29.2%. Poverty and inequality are less of a concern for Michigan voters, with only 15.5% prioritizing it. International issues like the Hamas-Israel war with 6%, the war in Ukraine with 4.6%, and China-US competition with 4.2% are ranked lower among the concerns of Michigan voters. Crime is also a relatively low concern with only 3.8%, considering it one of the most important issues. But in addition to the tightening polls, Kamala Harris is facing several setbacks in Michigan. One of the most significant blows to her campaign is the decision by Michigan's firefighters union to skip endorsing a candidate for the presidential race. This omission is a notable loss for Harris, given the influence of unions in Michigan's political landscape. Unions traditionally back Democratic candidates, and their lack of support signals waning enthusiasm for Harris in a state she needs to win. According to NBC News, Democrats are bracing for potential cracks in the blue wall. The Harris campaign has privately expressed concerns about losing Michigan. If Michigan or Wisconsin falls to Trump, even securing Pennsylvania would not be enough for Harris to reach the 270 electoral votes necessary to win the White House. This scenario has raised alarms within the Harris camp as the Midwest becomes increasingly competitive. Additionally, Sky News reports that Arab American voters in Michigan are turning to Donald Trump, viewing him as a wild card candidate. This shift reflects broader concerns within the Harris campaign that key voter groups in Michigan are leaning toward Trump to further complicate her path to victory. But support for Donald Trump isn't just growing in Michigan, because it's spreading across the crucial swing states that will determine the outcome of the 2024 election. Real Clear Politics data shows Trump leading in nearly all the key battleground states, which reflects a broader trend of rising support for him across the country. Trump holds a 1.8-point lead in Arizona, with 49.1%, compared to Harris's 47.3%. In Nevada, Trump is also ahead by a smaller margin of 0.7 points, with 47.6% to Harris's 46.9%. Wisconsin shows Trump leading by 0.4 points, with 48.3% to Harris's 47.9%. In Pennsylvania, a state both candidates must win, Trump is leading with 47.9%, while Harris is at 47.1%, which gives him a 0.8-point advantage. North Carolina also shows Trump ahead and is polling at 48.4%, compared to Harris's 47.9%. His 0.6-point lead could be decisive in a state that often determines election outcomes. In Georgia, Trump has a significant 1.8-point lead, with 48.8% to Harris's 47%. But the challenges for Kamala Harris extend beyond the swing states, as national polls and electoral simulations are increasingly favoring Donald Trump. According to Real Clear Politics, if we add up the swing states, where Trump currently leads, he would secure 312 electoral votes to Harris's 226. The TIPP Insights daily tracking shows Trump ahead by 1 point with 48% compared to Harris's 47%. Looking at the 538 simulations for the Electoral College winner, Trump won 51 times out of 100 simulations, while Harris won 49 times. The Economist projections also reflect Trump's improving chances. In their latest forecast, Trump is projected to win 54 times out of 100 simulations, with an estimated 276 electoral votes. This is the same as yesterday, but a 9-point increase over the past 7 days. In contrast, Harris is projected to win 46 times out of 100, with 262 electoral votes. Harris's chances have decreased by 9 points over the past week. These national polls and simulations show that Trump's momentum is not limited to Michigan or the swing states, but is reflected in broader national trends and projections. Harris's campaign is facing mounting pressure on multiple fronts, while Trump's chances of a 2024 victory continue to rise. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.